Hello, my name is Francois. Today I'd like to share with you how the different generations communicate online. The first generation we look at are the veterans. If we look at this demographic, what they like to do is meet face to face. And they obviously use the phone quite a lot and use voicemail. You'll see that they are starting to use email, but they use very little instant messaging, Twitter, or voice chat. So you'll find with this generation, it's not really great if you're trying to contact them on media that they don't use. So if we move over and look at the next generation, which is where I fit in, the baby boomers, well, we still like to meet face to face. We speak a lot on the phone and we use a lot of email. But we're also gradually starting to use social media because people in this age group find that they might be left behind and they need to learn more about how social media is used actually to protect their jobs. So moving on to Generation X. This generation, they were in university when the internet was around. So they use the internet for information that they want to receive right now. We call them the now generation. You'll never find them going to buy a newspaper at 5 o'clock in the evening to look at what news was on. They would have had that news as and when it happened, coming through on Twitter feeds or on any instant messages. So we can see with this group, they use the phone not as much as the others, and also face-to-face is moving down. And then finally we get to Generation Y. Well, these guys, they have the phone in their hands all the time, but they don't actually speak on it. Actually, instant messaging and sending text messages, up to 3,000 a month. So when you look at this generation, you've got to really take note that if they are part of your customer base, then you should be communicating with them on the technology and the channels that they prefer. So looking at all of these in conjunction, what you've got to think about is, do I have all these generations in my own business? The veterans, the boomers, Generation X and Y? And if I do, am I allowing Generation Y to use Facebook and social media? Because if I don't, what am I actually saying to them? That we're a backward company? How will you grow your company if you don't actually use the tools? You'll find that Generation Y one day will be taking over the company. And they're not going to move and do what the veterans were doing, going back to just phone and meeting face to face. The second most important thing about looking at all of these demographics at once is this what your customer base consists of? Because if your customers consist of all of them, and you as a business are not using these channels to communicate to them, you actually might miss out. So you might be trying to send an email proposal to a Generation Y when a tweet could have just worked. And you might be leaving voice messages for them and wondering why they're not getting back to you. It's because they don't actually use the phone that much. So it's very important when you are working on your communication strategy in your company and using social media to communicate, that you are active on all the channels where your prospects and your customers are. Thank you.